church, but also in our multi-region. It's been great to have Pastor Rick there with us. And we started to really unpack these things. Pastor Rick was just blown away, like, man, this is what we need. What we're doing in our multi-regions, what we need in all the regions. We need to create spearheads. We need to create, because the base is sometimes not the local church. Sometimes the whole region is the base. So just like we're sending out this precious couple here, you know, the region is operating like a base in releasing. Now we got to replace them. We got to find a pastor to replace them. So we're operating like a base. Sometimes the church could be a base, like San Diego's a base. But we also want to grow the region, the multi-region to be a base. So in order to do that, you got to be sharp. Someone say sharp. That's going to be the theme of our whole RTL today, just being sharp. You're going to walk out of here, dude, so sharp. People are going to start bleeding when they walk next to you. So, I'm sharp. Just stay away from you. I might cut you. Can I hear an amen? Why do we need to be sharp? Can you all see this board? Hopefully. And you'll want to take pictures of this later. But why do we want to stay sharp? We want to stay sharp because there are powerful forces working against the church. What does the Bible say? We wrestle not against what? Or what? Powers. Rulers of this dark age, right? Our battle is not with people. Our battle is not with governments. Our battle is with spirits. Are you with me? Yeah. Our battle is against the enemy. So the enemy wants to do all it can to keep our churches down. Wants to keep our churches in poverty. Keep our churches with not enough to do what God has called us to do. I believe God's given us a big vision. Amen. So there's all these powers dealing and fighting against us. Sometimes the enemy want to try to hit us with sickness. Hit us with, divorce. Hit us with schisms and isms and prisons and all kinds of stuff. So the devil hates us. Look at you and say, the devil hates you. So that's why you have to be sharp. You have to be sharp. Because the only thing that's going to penetrate the power of the enemy is going to be a spearhead. Now, I could draw you like an arrowhead. I don't know if we have any Indians in the house. All right. Amen. But what we want to do is, we won't look at it as like a spearhead, but we'll look at it like a church. Okay. So the church has got to be sharp. The church has to be sharp. I believe the tip of the church, or the bullet tip, or like, they make these. I was the other day on Instagram, I was looking at all these arrowheads. And they make them real crazy now. How many are into all that bow and arrow type thing? They got like a 4 sides, double razor edge. They got them stuff when you pull them out, you cut them more. I mean, it's really jagged and crazy. It's insane. So the tip of the spear in any church is the pastors. They got to be sharp. They've got to be sharp. But how many know that in order for an arrowhead to be effective, it must be attached to a shaft or a stick? And how many know that stick is used to plunge or to push into your target, right? Pretty basic. But the tip is the pastors. And that's why we have to be galvanized. We have to be, fortified. We have to be firebranded. We have to be tested, tried, and true. So when we take a church and lead a ministry, expects the fire to test you. You're going to be tempered. You got to be tempered still. Amen. Yeah. So not only do you have the pastor, you have the key leaders that really support the pastor. You might be a licensed minister. Right? You might be a licensed minister. You might be an evangelist in the church. You might be a home director. You might be a person who helped start the church, or you're one of the pioneers of the ministry. You fill that space behind the pastor in that you're supporting the pastor. And I want to encourage you to know that we're weakened when we release these leaders. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't, because they'll be called, those that are called and separated to go. The Holy Spirit will say, separate unto me Paul and Barnabas for the work that I have assigned them. So the Holy Spirit will pull them out and begin to use them. But we should recognize that there's a weakening. And there's a space that's left when a leader at this level here goes out and is sent out, so that weakens our tips. So that's what's needed, is that the people that are at this level there will come a time where you'll need to be sharp enough and ready to step up to this level. And when you step up to this level, it's a lot hotter. It's a lot more intense. Look at this. And it's a lot more intentional. Everything at this level is done with intentionality and intensity. So if you're a complainer, you can't be at this level.
Wow.
If you say, I can't, then you can't, no. Go down here.
Come on.
This is the I can't roll.
That's good. You gotta teach that.
That's the cheap seats at the Kings game. You're way up there.
Come on.
You want to sit by the bench, you got to be intense and intentional. You got to recognize there's heat involved, there's pressure involved, there's sacrifice involved. You know what I'm saying? So whenever a leader's launched out, there's a need for someone who's willing and hungry to step up and to fill that space. Because this whole space here has a mentality. You know what the mentality is on that level? The mentality on that level is this one thing I do.
Come on, bro.
Let's go.
Who said it? Who said that quote? Paul. You get around Pastor Sonny Sr., this one thing I do. That's all I want to talk about. Sister Julie, this one thing I do. So if I get around Pastor Sonny, I might be able to pull him into like the Lakers or the Dodgers for a moment, but it's a split moment. Because he's ready to pull me back into this one thing I do. He's not in my world, I'm in his world. I get to go into his world. So if you dwell in this zone with your pastors, you're on his team, he's not on yours.
Wow.
You've grown mature enough to know you're on his team, he's not on yours. When you were down here, he was meeting all your needs.
Yes.
But that's for a year. You're the mission for a year. After a year, you become the missionary.
Come on.
You catching it?
Yeah.
I want to teach you these things. It's important. So to be on that top level, if you're in the upper echelon of your church and you're part of the tip of the spear, you have to be intense. You have to be intentional. You have to know and have the mentality of this one thing I do. Because if I don't do it, the church will crumble. If I don't do it, our pastors won't be sharp. If I don't do it, we won't have the thrust needed. Are you hear what I'm saying? So there's a second component, because everybody's valuable. Is now you have your tip with your strong leaders, but now you need thrust. You need thrust. Because an arrowhead on the floor can't kill anybody. It has to be attached to a shaft. It has to be attached to a piece of wood or material that will thrust it into the enemy. So now you have your leaders. And these are the people that make up the support, the shaft. This represents a lot of things in a lot of different churches. For right now, because of the size of our churches, I want to just say these are the leaders. Okay? In our church, the way that's kind of mapped out is that these would be the cell groups. Every leader leading 10 or leading 20. But let's go for this region. These are the leaders. These are the people. And the challenge we have in being able to penetrate darkness and develop a ministry that's sharp and cutting edge is that the arrowhead is strong.